You are listening to AM Rockland. I'm your host, Tom Osa. Thanks for joining us today. Well, we have County Executive Ed Day on for our weekly show with him at 3 o'clock every Tuesday. I'm going to actually just turn off the music, and thanks for being on the show again, County Executive Day. Rockland County, how are you today?
Great to be here, Tom. I'm doing fine. It just got through yesterday pretty well. It was a difficult afternoon and evening for sure.
Yeah, seriously, that was some wild rain. I remember that happened like about 15 years ago in Nyack, where it just like torrential downpour and just flash floods. It was unbelievable.
Well, we even had I finally made it to the house, and one of the thunderbolts came down. It sounded like a shotgun went off in the house. That's how loud it was. But I'll tell you, it brings it. One thing I do want to touch on as it relates to it, the heroic acts of our volunteer firefighters and our emergency service personnel, law enforcement, EMTs, all working together to make sure we're safe. There were 32 or so rescue dispatches that involved water rescues. I don't know how much more I can say to people to please make judgments when you're out in this kind of weather. My wife was coming home from Westchester County, and I was keeping her abreast of what was going on. She was telling me what was going on, and I was passing it along to my people here in Rockland. If you see, she was seeing by exit 4 on I-287, she saw look, the water was a little deeper. She wasn't sure, so she watched the car in front of her, and when the car in front of her was smaller, made it through easily enough, she felt more comfortable going through it. And she got home, but it was a heck of a commute. But I got to tell people, you understand, you get caught up in that. You need a water rescue. You're putting people at risk. You're putting our first responders at risk. Everybody involved in trying to get to you. You're just an unnecessary save. We don't need to be going out to get you. If you realize that you can't tell if the water's too deep, do not drive through it. It's not worth it. You better pulling over. Anything else. So we had a tree on a house during the night yesterday, and also we had numerous fire alarms. Many of them attributable not so much to fires, but to security systems that we have go off during the storms. I used to sell these. I was a senior consultant for a company down in the Queens, so they are sensitive and they will go off when you have weather just as this. But at the end of the day, Rockland County did well. We survived. We got through it. And no reported injuries that we're aware of that were storm related. So, thank you to all who were involved in making sure that Rockland County and the people within it are safe.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm familiar with some of the emergency services, the communication systems. I think one of them is 44 Control.
Yes, exactly.
And I imagine when a notification comes in and then they alert the different departments to send apparatus and trucks over to take care of, even if it's a traffic-related incident, not like a building.
Yeah, no, 44 Control that's a dispatch from the sheriff's department. It covers the whole county. And again, most people don't realize that's, as an ex-cop, that's the voice in the radio who also provides calm and also gives direction and assistance to people who are calling for help. They have a very, very difficult job. And anybody from law enforcement will tell you that their presence verbally is a tremendous asset to someone who's trying to get help to them, and it's just really they're the unseen arm of public safety. They do an amazing job, and I want to just acknowledge their work.
Yeah, and that's the case in point that you mentioned a while back on the show about the need for proper training and going through the proper guidelines in order to become a member of the fire departments around here.
Exactly.
So we heard that there was a testing for the first case of the year for West Nile.
Yep, you're very timely today with your radio broadcast because this news release just came out as I was waiting to go on the air with you. So kudos to you for being Johnny on the spot.
Well, we appreciate the press. We process it fairly rapidly, so we appreciate the notification to get the word out for you guys.
We're trying to work together to get the need filled here in Rockland County, and you guys have been a great help and great asset to that. So anyway, what occurred, the town of Orangetown, during the week of June 30th, there was a sample submitted for testing on July 7th. So far this year, to put this in perspective, 183 mosquito pools have been submitted for testing. There have been no human cases that have been reported this season, and the most recent confirmed human case in the county occurred in 2023. So, we just really want to let people understand the most important thing they can do is don't make a welcome mat out for mosquitoes. And welcome mats typically are pooled water. You can really be a very big help to give a perspective on this. An empty bottle cap that is face up, and a little bit of water is in there. That could be utilized by a mosquito to breed. It sounds crazy, but think of all the things that are around your home right now that pool up. I mean, things such as in your gutters. All gutters have water pooling in there, and what you typically should be looking at doing is drilling small holes in the gutter and let the water drip through. Swimming pools, hot tubs, things of that nature. But anything that is a collector can be a situation that'll be inviting mosquitoes and therefore bring upon the potential for West Nile virus being detected here in Rockland. And from that point on, we want to make sure nobody gets sick from it. What I would just like to do is just give an appointment only number where Monday through Friday, where people can be picking up things such as the oh gosh,
Yeah, the
the
kits,
the the,
it was
dun-
a
the
kit,
dunks,
right?
the dunks, yeah.
Yeah.
So what I would suggest that people take this number down. It's our health department, 845 364 3173. Again, 364 3173. You call them to make an appointment, have your items set aside. This is free, so you have no excuse. You don't have to go to Home Depot for this. And take the preventative steps that we're talking about to make sure that we minimize any mosquito-borne diseases from hitting us here in Rockland County.
And for those of you that are searching for it on the web, you go to rocklandcountyny.gov, click on departments, and head over to the health tab, and you can get more information. Um, okay, and yeah, mosquitoes, absolutely. I mean, one of our longtime sponsors always talks about prevention tips. Just wearing simple things such as wearing mosquito prevention, and most people that get West Nile virus, it's just mild symptoms, but why take a chance, right? It's
Exactly. It's, you don't want to be sick if you don't have to be.
mhm,
Yeah.
definitely. How's Envision Rockland going, by the way?
Oh, Envision Rockland is moving along. We wish it was a little more. It was people would opt into this. People in many ways, rightfully and maybe wrongfully, complain that the government is detached from them. That they don't feel they're being heard. They don't know what's going on. This is an opportunity not only to be updated as to what's going on, and this is really something you can actually have offer direction to the folks who are doing the planning for moving forward here in Rockland County. That's really a pretty interesting position to be in. And look, my perspective is kind of simple and straightforward. I'm not a career politician. My background mostly is in law enforcement, security systems, and time in the private sector. When I came in as a legislator, I believe very strongly in citizen representation and learning from what's around you in government and try to apply it to serving the people better in Rockland County. We're putting together a comprehensive plan. It has not been updated since 2011. The plan will shape how we invest in our future and protect our quality of life, especially if you're a parent. You're talking about what you're going to do for your children. It doesn't seem like it's always right there, but it's there for you to grab right now. And what I would suggest to people is we want to hear from you. This is an open invitation to you from county government to invest your time and your effort and your ideas to your community. And lo and behold, many times these things come to fruition and we end up coming with some great ideas. So we want to hear, we want to listen. My saying is God gave us two ears and one mouth for a reason.
Hmm.
We should apply that as much as we can, especially in government. So with that, I would give a website here. If you go to envisionrockland.com, that's Envision, Envision, Rockland.com. It's all one word. And you'll find things such as called the ideas wall, things that you feel might be a beneficial piece for the county of Rockland and your community. An interactive map along with that is a public workshop sign up. So you can get out and meet your neighbors, and collectively coming into a public workshop, you all are on the same page already. You're all there for the right reason. You're all there to do your best to try to make our community better. Those are the people we want. We want those people there. We don't want people who, especially the ones who really give a darn about what's going on. We don't want them feeling that they're not being listened to. So this is just another effort by the administration here to do that. So I would urge people to really look at envisionrockland.com. You'll see those things and never forget something. Every voice matters, whether you're a longtime
Right.
resident, whether you're a new arrival, whether you're a business owner or a parent, grandparent. Now's the time to share your ideas. We have been increasing in population here. We want to make sure that we do our very best to accommodate that and make sure that our efforts are aligned with what we're looking to get done here in Rockland. So now's the time. I mean, share your ideas and help us build a better Rockland for future generations. We don't propose that we know everything. We don't. We have some very talented people in county government and in our towns also, but there's always somebody out there who has an idea that really should be followed up on. So here's an opportunity to do that.
Yeah, good example. And I'm on the ideas wall on envisionrockland.com right now. And you can see some of the items that people post. Here's something that I'm just reading off that it's from Marita812 is her username. And it says, business I'd like to see grow is more river, water, or mountainside dining. Mount Fuji restaurant has a great view as well, et cetera, et cetera. Then we have another user named Music Lover that says, Nanuet needs a more accessible transit system for the Nanuet Town Center, especially if luxury apartments will be built. So it's a lot of ideas from a variety of individuals, and actually have one up here. I basically just put two words, more music, but that's just I might be a little bit biased on the music thing. So.
Somehow I'm not surprised.
Yeah, So envisionrockland.com, and it's I believe this is going to be the surveying is going to be open for the rest of the summer at very least. So that should be awesome.
Yes, it will be.
Yeah. And you all anything else that you wanted to go over today?
Yeah, the last thing is something new that really is just really outside the box thinking at its finest, and in ways to protect people here in Rockland and to try to stop violence before it happens. Rockland County has a threat assessment management team, and this is something I look at as a former member of law enforcement, and I see the value to this. It's really a very unique approach. It's prevention over reaction. It's not just a matter of responding to something that a violent act. How do we make our best bet in trying to stop it before it happens? Now, obviously, I'm not being Pollyannish about this. I mean, I know how tough law enforcement is, and the vast majority of situations are responses to things that are occurring. But it doesn't preclude us from making efforts to use a comprehensive approach to identifying situations where, if we have some information, it's much like when I had my detectives' case folders. I would look through the case folders and find information at different ends of that case folder, and you could almost, upon taking that information in, you could almost figure out who the next person of violence is going to be. And I know that sounds almost impossible, but it's not really. It's not really that impossible. I was the chief of detectives in Baltimore, one of the most violent cities in the state, in the country rather. And that you read those case folders, and you can actually see, after knowing some of what led to the initially violent act, you can actually see where it's going to go. So the Rockland County or RCTAM team includes law enforcement, mental health, social services, education, and government. Now, if you think about those five things, think of taking information from each of those disciplines and how it could be applied to real life scenarios if you have knowledge about what's going on. Somebody who's having difficulty in his or her life, as someone who could use some help in mental health. If we can intercede before the violent act occurs, we've just saved a lot of pain from occurring. Government, I mean, if we, again, law enforcement, mental health, and multi-agencies, it's something that we're focusing on early intervention, not punishment, and identifying, helping individuals showing signs of distress or instability. So we get back to something that you're very familiar with. Everybody's heard this. If you see something, say something.
Mhm.
Residents are always urged to speak up if they see something concerning or behavior that's out of sorts. I can tell you that as an ex-cop, I can tell you for sure that police officers would much rather respond to a scene before the crime occurs
Of
than
course.
after the violence occurs. And it's a frustration for that cop in a radio car who gets to a scene and there's already been a robbery that maybe somebody saw something 3 or 4 minutes earlier that would have prevented that from happening. So again, if you see something, say something is a way to go. And this is about community care and connection. It's not about surveillance. We're not looking to be Big Brother. We're looking to learn about the dynamics of what's going on. Much is done in a squad room in the PD. You are looking at what's going on there and an incident that occurred, and you're getting information that will hopefully lead you to preventing something else from going on. We're just broadening that effort right now.
Mhm. Is there a number? Is this based on 911, or is it more along the lines of a specific number for people to call if they see something that is of concern?
Yeah, I'm trying to find the website right here.
Yeah, no problem. I could look it
Oh,
up.
here we go. RC TAM dash TAM.
RC dash.
RC, no, just RC TAM.
Mhm.
That's the website.
Got it. Rockland County Threat. Yeah, just type for those of you that are listening, RC TAM. You can just type it in Google, and top listing is this. So Rockland County Threat Assessment Management. So you can report a threat. You just click on the big green button. Now we can't use this on well, actually, I'm not going to tell jokes. This is actually a serious thing. So I will. The number is 845-708-7400, and there is a confidential reporting form directly on the website, and you can put your email and your phone number, but that is optional. So you can report a threat if something is suspected or something that is of concern that you think that you can help to prevent. That's definitely the place in Rockland County to report that.
Just in talking about this, it just reminded me of a situation back in when I was a young officer in the 34th precinct in Washington Heights. We had a gentleman who was running around 181st Street with a big knife in his hand.
Mhm.
We were all trying to corral him and calm him down, and he was on the Washington Bridge, which is connects to Amsterdam Avenue in Upper Manhattan.
Yeah.
And he had what the issue was. He had this knife, and we didn't know what was going to happen, if he was going to stab one of us, if he was going to stab himself. We weren't quite sure at that point. But long story short, we were able to control him and subdue him with great difficulty. Nobody got hurt except him. He got hurt with the knife that he was holding,
Mhm.
and he basically stabbed himself. Now,
Jeez.
thankfully, it wasn't that bad a wound, but we come to find out that this guy wasn't a bad guy. He wasn't a criminal. He was a young man who had an issue with his girlfriend,
Mhm.
and he kind of went off the edge with that, and he was inconsolate, and that was really what this is about. So as you can look at that, and we had about a dozen police officers there trying to keep him calm and to prevent him from hurting himself. And you think about this. This was a good man. He was a young person, had no criminal activity in his life. He just had a bad day with his fiance, and that set him off in a path that could have killed him. Thankfully, he did not die. He was treated, and he got the help he needed. But something as simple as that, you could actually have an effect. If you see someone having a problem, you can call this number and say this. Then again, it's not surveillance. This is, we're trying to help people. You can tell, basically call it in, give people as much as you can, and we'll take that from there and try to find out if we can help this person and prevent a tragedy. So that's a real life example that goes back to about 1982. So um,
Wow.
those are
Amazing.
the kind of things. Those are the kind of things people don't see in their law enforcement personnel.
So even these systems, the ones that have been built up, say for instance, New York City and more urban areas, they start to come into play in more, let's say, suburban areas over the course of time and build up infrastructure to help mitigate risk, I imagine.
Yeah, and also, Tom, anybody, anything like this, people can call the local police station. They don't have to. If they see something on the street, and it would be not convenient or not easily for them to to get this on the TAM system, just call your call 911 or call your local police department.
Excellent. All
And
right. Well,
that's about all I got for you today, Tom. Unless you got something else I'm missing.
no, I think we're good. Any fun activities you got planned for the weekend or sometime this summer?
Yeah, my next fun activity is to go get my car, which had its air conditioning blown out, and it's going to be a costly little bite, but it could have been a lot worse. It could have been some other part of my car. It actually came. I spent a few days up at Cape Cod, the first time away this year, and me and Donna, and as we were leaving and starting to drive, all of a sudden it felt warm in the car. My
Mhm.
AC crapped out.
Uh,
So I drove all the way to Cape Cod with that AC, and you make sure appreciate the miracles of modern science. We didn't have AC when I was a young driver in a car, back in the '60s.
yeah.
Um, but
Yeah, I can relate to that because growing up, there was no such thing as air conditioning. And the lucky thing is, I have half Latin American heritage, so it was like home, just 90-degree weather every day of the summer.
we had in our radio cars back in the NYPD, we had no AC, and
Uh-huh.
all the seats were black.
Yeah,
So every police officer you saw who had radio motor patrol, every cop you saw who did that was carrying with him one of those seats where you can, because if you sat on the seat of the car,
yeah,
you'd
you have
burn
to
yourself.
peel yourself off of it, right?
Yep. So
That's
fond,
wild.
fond memories of what we used to have to deal with.
That's great. Well, County Executive Day, Rockland County Executive, thank you for being on the Rockland News Podcast once again. And we'll look forward to talking with you next Tuesday consistently at 3 o'clock. Thanks for being on the show again today.
Sounds great, Tom. Thanks for having me.
All right. And special thanks to our sponsors, Dana Pest Control, Susan Volver Realty, and Lauren Molina Muller. We'll see you again for an AM Rockland episode coming up soon. Talk to you next time.